paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into Brainstorm Brewery. Welcome back from Vegas. If you were there, if you had a good time, if you had a bad time, if you had somewhere in between time, then you were there. I would say that's probably the best way to describe it.
Man, that was not suited.
What?
No, that was
What
objectively
what
the
did
best
you
way
just-
to describe it. Think about it, DJ, just not for too long. I've got DJ with me, I got Jason with me, I got Cass in here this week. It's Brainstorm Brewery. We're all back from Vegas. As you might be able to tell, we're maybe a little tired. I know that I sound
I have
a
to
little
get up at
tired
8:30
myself.
a.m. tomorrow. And
Jason has to be up early like an adult. DJ gets up at
Don't say-
5:30
listen,
every day.
Listen. Half the population is more alert at night than they are in the morning. But you farmer motherfuckers who can get up before 8 are like, man, everyone else is lazy but me. No, I'm just alert at night. Do I call you lazy because you want to go to bed at 8:30 p.m. like my wife does? Yes, I do. And I do it after you're asleep, like a good person. I don't
Which
sleep
fighting
astrology
the
nights.
tic-tacker did you learn that from? Good lord.
No, I've been fighting that battle my whole life. People are mean if you have a different schedule than them. All right, we are all back from Vegas. I was working the World Championship. It was an extremely busy weekend for me. If you tuned into any of it, you saw a feature match. I picked the features. It was a very big deal. It was cool. It was fun.
I'm writing the
Cass
trip
and-
off as
Cass and
research.
DJ were working, and Jason was working.
Listen, Brainstorm Brewery is the proud sponsor of the Merca Fighting 1 Pound Robot Lasty, who fought in the Merca Championship last week. Okay? We sponsor a bot. It's irresponsible for me to not do research. So I took Brent, the pilot of Lasty. I don't say driver, I say pilot because Lasty is too fast to stay in the arena. It busted its own wheels off driving too fast. Very funny. I took Brent to Vegas to see BattleBots. It was a research trip, and that's why the podcast is going to reimburse me for my BattleBots tickets.
So we sponsor a bad bot, is what you're saying?
He tried to get into the top 32 in 32nd place because that'd be funny. He got in at 31st. But he did very he didn't win any money because there's no money in 1 pound bots. But he made us proud, and he had stickers with our logo on them on his robot. So you know what? We got our money's worth.
I agree. That sounds, I'm not going to lie, I think that's awesome. I would have been at BattleBots if I had not been working very long hours over a very long time. But from what I understand, everyone had a great time, and it was basically no notes, you know?
Yeah. I'm getting my daughter indoctrinated. She's going to do STEM stuff and make robots that fight the Russians. I have a feeling we'll need that in about 18 years.
I was talking about the convention. You're talking about robots still.
So we've heard stories from both ends. We've heard a lot of people on Twitter say this was the best event ever, and we've heard a lot of people on Twitter say that this was the worst event ever.
It was both somehow. Right?
Well, explain how it was the worst event ever.
Because everything that everybody said about it was right, and everything everybody said that was good about it was right. So it was really like, what did you focus on?
I do
If you
think there is
focused on the
something to
fact that the Commandzone was empty because you saw a tweet on Friday and never changed your opinion because you were home, yeah, you probably thought it sucked. The Commandzone was opened up by judges, just not giving. They're like, hey, 3 of us have a Ruby badge, but my friend doesn't have a Ruby badge, so the 4 of us can't play EDH together because there's no tables for it. And some of the judges were just like...
They adjusted the rules on Saturday and Sunday. I think that's what people were missing. You're right. They saw a Reddit post on Friday. And I'm literally not even going to get into all the million details of the event. There are obviously lots of things that could have been better. There were lots of things that were a function of coming back from COVID with people who haven't worked shows before. It was the first convention style event.
It was the first,
there was a short notice.
Where they were paywalling everything too, yeah.
Yeah, and they had, clearly there were space issues. You're right. Whatever people said, they were mostly right. Now, I will note.
So I heard that this event was basically never going to be running this hall again, is what I heard from one of the people that
well,
worked at
yeah,
Wizards.
they probably way overpaid because Vegas late in the year?
No, the issue is that there was a big car show, as I understand it.
Also, when we
coming
were
to the
young, Fest was
normal-
in town.
Yeah, there was a large show going to the convention center, so they could not
This
have it
hall
where they
was still
typically
bigger
have
than
it.
Vegas 2018 at the convention center, I thought.
No, I
That
don't
had more
think so.
satellite
even close.
ballrooms, but this
No.
it seemed bigger.
It's
You
because
sure?
it was in a small space.
Yeah.
Honestly, like you, if you think about it, if you've stayed in the Westgate and walked to the normal GP Vegas, it is a mile-long walk. Boss of mine distanced it. It is a mile and a walk. It's 20 minutes, and then you get to that hall, and it's massive. It was way bigger than this weekend. So this was different. I mean, this event was not next to any hotel. They put me up in the Golden Nugget. First time I ever stayed on Fremont. That was interesting. But you basically needed to Uber to the site in the morning. And
it
yeah,
wasn't,
it was a different site.
super obvious where to get picked up. The Uber drivers are being sent to a spot where event security didn't want people to get picked up.
There was a
just
lot
like
going
a
on.
million little inconveniences like that
Yeah.
that sort of accumulated. Half of it had nothing to do with WotC or the venue, but it all kind of added up to making people a little salty.
Well, and you need to understand that this is the cloud opportunity of the year. No one cared more about.
yeah.
No one is following anything on the year more than they will follow this event with the release of Magic 30 anniversary edition on it.
I saw less complaining for people who were actually in the hall, for sure.
Yeah, there were so many things people tweeted that were just untrue. And then but it didn't matter. Anything that was vaguely critical of the event, you'd get a million views on it regardless of whether or not it was accurate.
Yeah, the one thing that was accurate was people were playing outside on those orange tables out in front of the venue, but like that actually
Well,
is good, actually.
The thing is, look, here's a perfect example. You're right. It was pretty that people had to play outside. However, that gets translated on the internet to they refused to turn on the lights and we had to stand in the boiling Vegas sun. It was 60 degrees and all the lights were turned on.
It was hoodie weather.
So I was at Magic 30 and a baboon ate my face, but also like gave me a hand job. So who's to say whether it was a good or bad event?
A baboon would tear your dick off. What are you talking about?
It tore my face off. It already satiated its bloodlust.
No, you can't satiate a baboon's bloodlust until you stop moving. It's going to give you your final handy.
I was at Magic 30 and I bought cards along with Cass for every hour that the hall was open and some that were past the hall being closed.
That was another issue where the hours for sure.
Well, so Gen Con is open 10 to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
The issue was kicking people out and then making them queue up in the hallway right outside. So like they had the venue closed at like 7 or something. The free play area was open but it was in another building, and then they had events starting at 8. But then the convention center had a hard out at midnight or something. So it was just a lot of wasted movement, and
I have a rant.
A lot of it just comes down to space issues, frankly. Go ahead, Cass.
I have a rant about this. People were like, oh, the hall hours were so short. The hall hours were so short. And if you look 10 tweets back on their timeline, they're like, workers don't have enough rights. And it's like, last year in Vegas, I worked 3 14-hour days bookended by red eyes. I had a fucking psychotic break. And like this year, I worked an 8-hour day, a 9-hour day, and a 9-hour day. It turns out if you want to give employees ethical working conditions, fans have to sacrifice a couple of hours of their fun time in the hall. And like, you know what? If they got a problem with that, boom. Like if you're actually mad that like these people who, for the most part in the hall, I imagine are not being paid enough, are not working more hours. Like it's not tenable. And like,
I want
I'm
cards
sure
that cost more made by people who got paid more and took more vacations. The hall
Yeah,
will be
and
closing
then
at 7
the
p.m.
follow-up.
Do 7 p.m.
Yeah, like I got 8 hours of sleep at least one of the nights in Vegas. That's the first time that's ever happened for me. So like, shout out to that.
That's great.
And
Yeah.
the follow-up from that is like the I guess the quote straw man response to that is like, well, then they can just hire more people. Yeah, and then your badge is more expensive. Like, deal with it. Like,
Or your cards are more expensive, or you get less money for your cards. Like, if you want things to work, there has to be sacrifices somewhere, because like we live in a system with finite resources, whether we want to or not.
We also live in a system where if you have more than 5,000 followers on Twitter, any complaint that you have will get addressed immediately.
I'm at 4,500. It's really hard to get to 5K. Like the last 500, you have to do a lot of grifting.
They've been cleaning. They're cleaning bots up. Elon's in charge of cleaning up bots. Everyone's been dropping followers, myself included.
I'm just going to tweet the word.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tweet the word proxy every 30 minutes for the next 3 weeks, and I'll get to 5K in no time.
That'll do it.
I don't
Absolutely.
like him getting rid of the blue check mark. Replacing it with an emerald is...
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know all the details.
Google...
Just Google Elon Musk emerald and it'll bring up the whole thing.
Good point, Jason. Definitely get on that. While you're Googling things, though, after that, I have to recommend going to mdgstocks.com. It's where we go for all of our Magic the Financing, Magic the Gathering, finance information.
Stick to it.
Why the
That's
is
what we
this
should have done.
podcast called Brainstorm Brewery?
Because I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to answer that question for you, Jason, because I was at Magic 30 this weekend, and our hoodie was prominently displayed at the Coalesce booth, and it looked cool. Brainstorm Brewery. In fact, I kind of think the next one should say the welcome to the Brainstorm Brewery. Then it's really going to have
Facebook? I bought one of Ristic Studies playmats in front of him and made him sign it, and some other guy did the same thing unironically right after. And I wish I'd been able to start that trend of buying things at Coalesce Apparel. He's like, man, Sam, your videos are so good. And I said, hey, if you want to save money on Ristic Studies Apparel, use the gift code Brainstorm Brewery at checkout to save 10% on your order.
That's what he said. I wasn't there, but I can confirm that is what Jason said at the booth.
And
also, for what it's worth, I'm gonna put this out there.
That's a real gift code. Use it.
It is. Go to Coalesce, check that out. I'm gonna put this out there. The main difference between this event and previous Magic events is that for people who don't know and want some, unalterated truth here, this is a convention. The events are going to be conventions. The events are not going to be walk into 1 million tables spaced next to each other and play sealed for 9 hours a day. That is not what you're getting. Now, there are tournaments. There are those things you can do. But when you walked into the hall this weekend, you were hit with immersion. That's what they did. That's what they leaned into. They had a massive main stage in addition to the massive world stage. They had 2 streams going. There were vendors there who were selling furniture, who were selling jewelry. They
had all these little scenarios where you could play Magic in these weird contrived. They put like a corner. No,
those
room.
Were cool, man.
It's
those
like,
were
look,
cool.
it's the set
Those
of
were cool as hell, bro.
There was a Shadow Spear prop and like a Luxior prop. Yeah. That shit's tight as fuck.
And they were walking around the room just giving away things that were of incredible value. And I don't just mean like I saw somebody who had a uncut sheet of the schematic cards from the Brothers War.
Ooh.
And I was like, holy, that's so cool. Did you win that? And they're like, no, someone just gave it out to us.
Someone just gave it to me.
And I went and talked to the team. I went and talked to the team, and they were like, yeah, that's a really cool piece. We were super happy to have gotten it at the office so we could come and just give it to somebody this weekend.
Some random dude. That's amazing.
The people who bought the Black Lotus package, which was the most expensive tier at $750, got 4 of the Magic 30 packs.
And you got $1,000 worth of boosters.
Those people were able to walk into the hall, walk up to our booth, and then get $1,000 for those packs, depending on how many we had in stock. So you could just
they got a signed
Richard
Richard
Garfield. You
just
made $250 by not being poor, like
by not
Fridays ago.
Well, look, that's one way to look at it. You can look at it as people said, "I'd never pay $750. Nothing could ever make it worth it." Well, the reality is, it was worth it, just factually.
It's tax cuts for billionaires. You can't say that's not objectively very funny.
These things are okay, Jason. First of all, those things are fundamentally different, but you are not wrong. It is the funniest possible outcome.
Just give. Oh, you paid $750. Well, here's a refund.
Even if the
poor people can't even play EDH with their friends, but you got $1,000 worth of product.
If on WotC's website it said, "Hey, so here's the thing: if you pay this $750 for this package up front, you walk into the hall, we give you these 4 boosters, which vendors are paying $1,000 for, plus we'll throw in a signed Richard Garfield card the front vendor of the room is paying $100 for," the same people who were like, "Black Lotus package isn't worth it," still wouldn't have bought it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Magic 30 is a huge scam.
Inside is a check for $1,000 in every 700.
They would have said the same shit. Like, I'm not gonna buy these proxies when the reality was just free money.
Yeah.
I was getting a lot of like, well, their student loans shouldn't have been paid off. Like,
Student loans was the first thing that came to my mind. Now, look,
I had to work for my money. This person got a free thing out of it.
Yeah, it's really, really terrible. That's the kind of thing to me when people are upset that someone else received a gift that they did not. That you just really see the intentions. Now, look, all of that said, lots of people can't afford a $750 ticket.
Yeah.
Frankly, you probably shouldn't go to Vegas if you can't. You cannot nickel and dime your way
Corbin
to
lost
magic events.
$750 playing poker.
So
I did not. But the point
Sorry,
is,
800.
the point is, I see people all the time nickel and dime their way to go to a magic event in Vegas, and then they get there and they go try to get one drink or whatever, and they learn for the first time that they're in Vegas, and now they have to go fire sell all of their stuff to DJ or Cass because
It's
Vegas
so
is
good to be a
expensive
vendor
as
when-
your Uber to the airport is $50. Just eat it, like
Man,
you're just
let's-
eating it in Vegas. There's
paid-
no way around it.
You know how
I
many
got a second
$6.50 Gatorades I bought at my hotel?
Yeah, like you just
10.
you're going to get hosed.
I spent $65 on this trip.
well, no, the
on
Brainstorm Brewery
Gatorades.
Patreon paid for those actually.
No,
I have another rant. It's about Uber.
Okay.
Why you-
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Wait, is this
You
about?
go
Is this,
for it,
is
Louis
this about
Black.
me?
I'm like, why are you doing so many rants?
Kind of.
I'm like, this is literally why you're here. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So fucking Uber took something that was like pretty cool and kind of worked, and like the workers had a union, cabs, and just made it way fucking worse. It took me and DJ 45 minutes to get picked up from our dinner on Saturday night because like there's no consistent place for these Ubers and Lyfts to go. Where like if we just walked down to the cab tier or whatever, handed the cabbie $20 and said like take us there, we would have gotten there
Because
in
the
5
cabbie
minutes.
wouldn't do it for 20. It's 80. It was like $35 for an Uber to the airport, and everyone was bummed out that their Uber is taking forever. So they went over to the taxi cab, and they're like, "How much does it go to the airport?" He's like, $80, and everybody went, "That's why there's a line of taxis here." Got it.
Yeah, because like if there weren't for Ubers, taxis wouldn't have to charge that much. Taxis used to be like relatively affordable.
They were fine in my experience. I went a couple times before Uber. It was like fine. I never thought it was egregious. More
Yeah,
so
no,
than
but, like-
anything else. Yeah.
But like now the only option is to take a $30 Uber that takes 20 minutes, and like also you get in the guy's car or whatever, and like he starts
I love
talking to you
getting
about
in
some
a
shit.
person's car. I
Just
love
like
that.
some dude's car, yeah.
I know.
It's like,
Well, I won't go
What
into
a nightmare! What a nightmare! We have to let smelly strangers puke in our personal car
also our
because
Ubers
it's
to the
that or
airport,
starve. I love it.
we got into this guy's car, and the first thing he's like, "So you guys make a lot of money, right?" And he asked us if we make a lot of money like 3 or 4 times, and we're just like, "I don't know, man. Our boss does."
He's fingering the gun in his waistband. So
Yeah,
how much cash you got
exactly.
here?
Listen, here's the thing that tells you everything you need to know about Uber is the vast majority of your drivers are going to be having done Uber for less than a month.
Yeah.
Some people, it's their first day.
It's true. I won't go into
We
the full
waited for
things,
Corbin
but,
for
yeah.
35 minutes, and he was in an Uber.
I was in a 9-minute
time.
Uber ride. I was in a 9-minute Uber ride for 35 minutes or whatever. Yeah, I had one driver who couldn't figure out shared pickup, and he was his third day or whatever. So he handed me his phone, and
He's
on
like,
the way
cancel all these pickups.
on the way to my hotel, it just kept sending him new rides. Like, cancel. He said, "I just want to take you to the Golden Nugget. I can't figure out how to get from Terminal 1 to Terminal 3 at the airport to pick up this next person." And I said, "You know what, friend? I just want you to do that too. Cancel.
I saved $1.17 by getting an Uber pool, and now I'm here doing his job. I love that.
That's all right.
Hey,
Sure, man.
We all could have just like rented a Lambo for the weekend. That would have been fine.
Why didn't we do
I
that?
heard that was
Why
a
didn't
thing.
I think of that?
I heard that was a thing that the vendors were doing.
One vendor rented a Lamborghini for the weekend.
That's so stupid.
That's so funny.
It's funny, but would you want to drive a Lambo around
Yes.
for a weekend?
No.
A
It's not
Lamborghini
even the
is
cool
like
car.
a Tiger Cub in Vegas.
I don't
You will
wanna
get
drive
2
a-
girls with a
No.
Lamborghini in a vehicle that
No.
sits 2 people.
I don't want to drive a car that expensive in downtown Vegas. I feel like I'm going to be paying for liability insurance.
Exactly.
It just
Not
scares
a
me.
chance. Yes.
Like, if I was going to rent it and like go out to the outskirts of the city and go 120 miles an hour in the desert, that sounds
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
But like, why am I like? I don't want to rent a car to drive to the convention center.
Yeah, I'm going to get my Lambo and be in it for 4 minutes in the morning and
It's-
then stress
it's-
about it the other
it's funny.
23 hours.
It
It's
is
not
objectively
practical.
funny.
It's funny.
It's like purely frivolous and like it is dope, right? Like it's cool.
It's mildly funny. I'll give you that.
It's a prop bit.
Let me tell my Uber
still
story from
funny.
the weekend.
All right, let's hear it, DJ.
Hit me.
It's a pretty short story that Cass already knows. But Saturday morning, I left my phone in our lift.
Oh, that's a sad.
And that lift got crushed into a cube along with your phone.
That
No,
driver
That's
was
how
the
you lose
coolest guy,
Canadian
though.
Highlander decks, my
The
man.
driver was extremely cool. He was a very nice guy. He got tipped $50 for bringing my phone back to me.
Hell
so.
yeah.
He sent all those pictures of your wife to himself and then gave your phone back.
But the coolest part of the story was, so I reached out to Emily on my laptop. I was like, hey, spam call my phone until somebody picks it up. Picked it up. We scheduled the time to come back to the convention center. But the nearest parking lot was a bit of a run across the street and over this like 10, 12 foot tall chain link fence that they had set up to like keep people out.
Haven't you
and I
spent
was-
your whole life
climb-
training for that?
Yeah. Did you
It's
climb
like,
a fence?
yeah, you
DJ?
can go get your phone back, but you're gonna have to climb a fence and jump between these
Yeah,
wet
did you-
rocks, and then
did
you're
you
gonna have
scale
to
a fence,
vine
man?
crawl.
I ran up to the fence, looked at the security guard. I said, "Are you gonna get mad if I jump and climb this?" And he's like, "Not me." And so I did. I got to jump over the fence, run across the street, grab my phone, come back, climb the fence again, and then I
With your
dove
phone,
down and did like a rollout. And he was like, "That was cool as shit." And I just kept running, just ignoring
Dude, he
him.
literally had trained for his whole life for this moment. And
It was
he
a lot of fun.
Dude, he hit that fence like that. Like that security guard was the commentator on American Ninja Warrior, man. He's like, "You ready for this? Watch me go."
Every customer who
Good for
came
you,
up,
man. That's cool. I'll give you that, actually.
every customer who came up heard that story, and they were all like, "Oh my god, that's so cool!" And I'm just
You
like,
climbed a fence,
"He does parkour."
Douglas. You climbed an entire fence. You should fight crime.
Jason, I'll give you $5,000 if you can jump over a 12-foot fence and do a tuck and roll out of it and not injure yourself.
Okay, $5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's gonna
I can't
die.
jump over the fence. I can climb a
I mean,
fence.
No, you
Climb-
have to tuck and roll, son.
You would injure yourself 100%.
I want it.
100%.
There's no chance that you don't just, like, get 4 feet up the fence and fall off and, like, break your spine in 5 places.
Okay,
I'm
Like
assuming-
ball pit bad.
that seems
right
like
there.
a really easy $5,000 for me. Or I'll die and not have to pay you.
Or
I
you'll
mean-
get a hospital bill that's and then cast $5,000.
I fall off the fence and I just aim for my head. You get my $5,000 in hell.
I'll sue your estate.
My estate is a 6-year-old girl and a 3-year-old boy who can't
It'll be a
talk.
very easy legal fight then.
This is a verbal contract for sure.
Liliana's just like, "Oh my." Just
She's just going to be getting lawsuits filed
She
for
will
10
grow
years
up
after
and
Jason's
study the
death.
blade and avenge me.
Study the blade.
She's 25. She just shows up at Cass's house. I knew this day would come.
Honestly,
she's like
That's
suddenly
fine.
Japanese for some reason.
Why aren't the words you're saying matching your lips moving? It's weird. She's
All
not
right.
Japanese. She's dubbed.
Let's let's do a little bit of magic for people who weren't at Magic 30. It's time for Breaking Bulk.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, breaking bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
I have a Lorwyn red.
That was a
uncommon.
rougher transition than going from parking lot to fence back to parking lot.
Shard Volley.
I have a Lorwyn red uncommon,
Shard Volley. Oh, that's from Morningtide, JK.
and it's also a common. So
it's
there's
also
that.
is it needle drop?
Needle drop is
That was-
common, I think.
Oh,
'cause
that
that's
was
probably
Lorwyn.
legal.
It's
said
a
it's
it's
also
a Lorwyn
common.
what?
No, I said shard. I was talking about Corbin's guess. Shard volley is common.
Oh.
It is a Lorwyn Red Common, he said.
No, I said uncommon. I said uncommon.
He said
Is it
uncommon
is it that
allegedly.
elemental the hierarchy?
Ceaseless
The
Seer
elemental
Blade.
searchy guy?
It is an elemental, but that is not Flamekin Harbinger.
Is it,
Is it Smoke Braider or whatever the mana producer one is?
Smoke Blader was common.
A red common that's search. Wait,
Red
Uncommon,
uncommon.
Corbin. Gray set symbol. No other. No
I'm
reprints.
so confused. I'm so
Zero
confused.
reprints.
Is it
Okay,
a changeling?
It's an
Is it a
elemental, but it's
changeling?
not Flamekin Harbinger.
Cass is right. Cass is.
It's good in
What was
Minskin Boo because it's also a hamster. That's my guess.
What is it?
It's a changeling of some sort. I'm gonna
is a
guess changeling
changeling.
berserker.
It is Changeling Berserker.
Oh, that card's cool.
It
It's
is
uncommon though, DJ.
that. Yeah, that's what I said, Corbin.
Why did you say it was common?
He didn't. He said that's a common referring to shirt
Corbin and I
volley.
both. You know what? I miss it when it was just the three of us. So like Corbin
I have
and
an
I
ally
team
with
up on
Jason tries to
DJ.
gaslight
But
me
Cass-
now.
We were gonna Imagine Dragons him so hard.
Yeah, but Cass is like, no, I objectively heard him. You know what?
She's willing to cast at 7:30 p.m. and she's willing to defend me against gaslighting. Love it.
I also knew this card was good because I recently built a Menskambu Timeless Heroes deck, and this card both has haste and is a hamster.
Hasted hamster. Let's go. That's Magic in 2022.
That's all we
baby.
care about. I'm gonna use Goat Napper main and Legacy.
I was gonna pick the bear with set mechanic changeling, but then I realized Corbin had picked it a couple weeks earlier, so I changed my pick to the changeling berserker. Just if you see a card with changeling in its text, just pick it.
They're actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I like
Having every creature
changelings.
type is just very weird. So much so that they had to design an Unfinity card around changelings, the non-brushwag one.
Yeah, I love that because it's legal in Eternal formats, and it actually does matter in terms of pumping your whatever I think infect creatures. So the non-brushwag part is pretty funny.
So yeah, changeling berserker is roughly 65 cents. It used to be $1. I don't know why it's slowly dropping, but it doesn't matter.
Probably
Lower in
power
bulk, just
creep,
pick it.
honestly. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing: eventually they'll redo changelings or something, and you'll
don't
get
know.
changeling tribal. It'll be a commander deck or something, right?
I mean, they did. They did the party time Black White Baldur's Gate deck is it's called party time because it's wizard, cleric, rogue.
Sure,
warrior,
sure.
But it
Yeah.
has like 10 changelings. It has beautiful in it.
Good to know.
You have
All right, I've got a blue uncommon from everyone's favorite pandemic set, Midnight Hunt. Remember that one?
Fading Hope.
I know you don't.
Yeah, Fading Hope is my guess.
Why would
also.
you call it Fading Hope? Why would you just
because
say that?
we were explicitly told like
because you're
Friday morning
so bad
before
at
the
breaking
event,
bulk, bro.
We were
Dog
explicitly
shit.
told Friday morning before the event that this is like a card we need to buy for Japan. Like,
I see.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, Fading Hope is extremely good in standard, and one would assume other formats. It's just a 1-mana instant. Return target creature to its owner's hand if its mana value is 3 or less, scry 1. Happens to fit in standard right now. It's pretty good.
Do y'all remember
If
when
that,
like
anyway.
we like lost our minds over a unsummon that did 1 damage?
the Vapor
Like, this
Snag
one-
was hype.
Yeah,
And this one just scries. Like scry 1 is way better than 1 damage almost every time.
Yeah, but this one doesn't
Yeah.
bounce Hero Blade Hold.
Yeah, it's fair. Well, like, it does bounce here, but you just don't scry when you bounce it.
Yeah, you just don't get the scry.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
This card is
Yeah.
lit for
I
sure.
thought it was. I didn't actually read the card when I was buying it. I just thought it only bounced small creatures.
No,
No,
it just you only get the scry when you bounce a small creature.
It's a standard for what it's worth, and people aren't going to like this opinion, or at least not care, maybe. It was pretty fun. There was a ton of the same deck, but there were a lot of variations of that deck, and honestly, the games were pretty entertaining. As someone who
Doesn't the
sat
whole
there all
like
weekend
one
and
deck
watched.
happen when there's like a 24-person tournament always?
It
Like,
does.
isn't
It
that
happens
just a
very.
result?
Yes, thank you for saying that. That happens very regularly, and like I said, in this case, it really is almost a misnomer to say that it was one deck. It was people playing the same colors, right? But like it's a mid-range deck. People's decks
Yeah,
were
and you
10
were the
to
guy
12
that
cards
names the
off
deck
from
on the
each
Wizards
other.
website. You call
Yeah,
it
that
odds on
infographic-
mid-range. And
that
Mario
infographic
mid-range.
was a fumble.
Frank is on charge of this one. You can put that one on Frank Carson, Professor Frankie Numbers himself.
Frank Karsten, I think he was distracted because he sees me coming for his Chandler record, and he's
That's probably it.
distracted.
When's the last time you streamed Strandalar, Jason? Get on.
When's the
it.
last
Let's go.
time you streamed anything on the Brainstorm Brewery channel?
A few months ago. A few months ago.
A few months
I went
ago,
to
you invited
Twitch.tv.
yourself
Yeah,
to play with
Corbin.
Brad
Corbin, you
Nelson.
have no chance of winning this fight. That was a bad offensive move, my friend.
I went on Twitch. I'm just answering the question
You,
truthfully.
actually, you'll find that I coasted for 2 years, and then when someone I wanted to play with got on, I invited myself instead of someone Jason wanted to play with.
I think
Is that
you were
what
out of
you're telling me?
town, man. I'm pretty
You
sure
said that
you were
in
out
your
of town.
defense?
I'm fairly confident you were out of town and I filled in like a hero, but that's neither here nor there. Do you have a breaking bulk?
I do.
I have a
It's got
banger.
4 printings, and it's over $3, and none of you are going to like it. The second time it was printed was in Magic the Gathering Dual Decks Mind versus Might, but it's got a secret layer printing and an Urza set printing, as well as being a mystery booster card.
It's a
And it is-
sliver.
No, it is a non-creature blue spell that is common, originally in an Urza
Snap?
set. If you can't get it right away, yeah.
I mean, you gave me a lot of info. It took a little while.
I know.
Yeah.
I gave you a lot of info because, like, Breaking bulk isn't the I made Corbin guess wrong. It's the I can't believe Snap is $4 and you definitely have these in your bulk.
My card is a free spell.
I understand why it's good.
Yeah, that's...
The
I was just yes-anding
the German name for this card is Schneepsen, and I thought that was funny since I was 13. I got a Schneepsen in my teens, and I was like, well, I'm going to say Schneepsen instead of Snap for the rest of my life. And I
didn't realize we were supposed to pick an unsummon for our breaking bulk. I didn't come dressed for it.
Well,
I
you know
also-
what? Hey, unsummons are good because they're good for blinking and bouncing and for blue removal. It does it all.
Yeah. All right, Cass, what do you got?
Mine's a banger, I think.
Is it a bounce spell, though?
It's not. It is a gold rare from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms.
I'm not allowed to guess this, right? Because we
No,
Not
we
a
talked
clue.
about
Because
it.
you talked
Not
about
a
it all
damn
weekend, I
clue.
assume.
No,
No,
I
it's
talked
just-
about it before the cast.
just like an hour ago.
It's one of my
Not-
pet cards, too.
A clue.
Any guesses, Jason?
What colors?
A gold
Red-
rare?
Red
Is
and
it-
green.
That gives you
Yeah.
the information of the card.
Is
Like,
it
that's-
Minsky Blue?
Halana.
No.
It allows you to make an extra land drop.
It's Bard class.
Oh.
Okay.
For those at home who don't know what Bard class does, which is totally understandable, it's an enchantment subtype class from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. It costs a red and a green to cast. Its base level says legendary creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on them.
That's
And then
pretty solid.
when you spend red green to level it up, it says legendary spells you cast cost red green less, and it only reduces the amount of colored mana. And at level 3, which costs 3 red green to upgrade, it says whenever you cast a legendary spell, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn.
That's
I thought of
fine.
this card because in Brothers War, we have a new spoiler for a card called Hajar Loyal Bodyguard, who for a red and a green is a 3/3 legendary creature that can sacrifice himself to give legendary creatures you control +1/+0 and indestructible until end of turn.
Oh, that card's
Which
good.
means
Yes.
now in Pioneer and maybe even Modern, we have a deck where you can play Bard class on 2, level it on 3, and then play multiple different creatures that cost red-green. Because you have the Satyr from Theros Beyond Death that has haste. You have this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Ragavan's a legend. It's like maybe a Mox Amber deck. That seems kind of cool to me, but also just like... I think DJ mentioned this card's in 30% of Joda decks. And this card's 50 cents.
It's
Of
a
note,
buck. It's a buck on TCG Player. It's a $1.50 on Card Kingdom, and it's 75
Yeah.
cents on Cool Stuff. So like, you can still get these for 50 cents. Like, TCG Player ships it as like, oh, it's 50 cents for someone that has like $1 shipping or whatever.
Right.
And then you like,
Yeah, exactly.
but the dollar shipping is on one copy, and you could buy 90. So
Exactly.
The other
sometimes
thing I
it
think...
pays to actually, if you see a price on EDH Rec, it pays to click on it to see if Cool Stuff and Card Kingdom actually have the card in stock, or if that's the price where it's sold out, and to see what TCG Players actively charging along with shipping, because I sort by price plus shipping.
And so someone I talked to in Vegas actually mentioned that I should do this. I'm someone who actively buys cards and like sometimes buys them in quantity, and I should disclose if I have any copies of things. I did not do that for Comet. I owned like 12 copies of Comet when I picked it because I believed in it. For this card, the only one I own is I just before the cast purchased a Ampersand promo, so that's the only one I own. Also, the Ampersand promo is only $26, so like it's pretty cheap for an Ampersand promo. And it might be a sweet one to have.
Can you
if wanna own
explain
a
to
copy
people
of
who
this.
don't know what the ampersand promo is?
So the Ampersand promos were a special set, I believe, given to WPN premium stores as a full set of every rare in Adventures of the Forgotten Realms. That is a special foiling treatment that has an ampersand, the D&D symbol, on the card, and it's kind of hard to see in normal lighting, but under a UV light, it really pops. They're super rare. They're honestly pretty cool, and not a lot of people know about them. And I think like the cheapest card in that set is like $13 or something, and the most expensive is Tiamat at like $600. So. It's like
that describes so much of Magic where you're like, I just don't know if a lot of people know about this thing that happened recently. Because that describes me in anything from the past, like any individual card, basically, from the past couple years. If it was in a supplemental set and not one I drafted, I just don't know. I don't have a clue about it.
Why would you admit that?
Because it's impossible to keep up with it all.
I
know,
do
but
think
like,
every
we
card-
have to at least
Listen.
pretend we're stressed out trying to keep up.
Well, listen, the reality is it's fun when someone plays a card against you in Commander to say, oh, I didn't know that card existed. And what I personally do, what I personally do is every few months, I go to EDH Rec and I go to the last couple sets. And by the last couple, if I do it every few months, it's usually 12 sets or whatever, right? And I use that to go through and look at the most played cards from each set and then determine if I want any in a deck. So for me, I kind of get like, a little dump of new commander drip every few months. But I'm not living and dying by every preview because it's impossible, obviously. That's my approach anyway.
I liked Cass's pick. I don't think I own any. I probably do, but the fact that I can't tell you how many I own means that I'm not super invested in the card. What I am somewhat invested in is the 30th anniversary Secret Lair that I told everyone to buy, and that if you were lucky, you may have managed to pick up.
Yeah, but DJ, what if you were me and you took a nap and then you couldn't buy any?
And what if you were me and you literally fell asleep at your desk like 20 minutes before it happened? Like face planted down on the desk 20 minutes before it went live.
Why would you do so much Klonopin?
No one knows what that means, Jason. Is that a commander card?
Yeah,
I didn't take my meds this morning.
A legend.
We need to do a segment
Medicine or legend?
Medication or legend.
Yes, that's actually amazing.
What's an literary way to do that?
That's what I was just trying to figure it out, man. I was like, is there a C word for medicine so you can do commander? Is there a G word so you can do a general?
Compounded commander.
Compound or commander?
That's not.
Actually, compound or commander is pretty good. And instead of just medicine, it's like chemical compounds.
I think it's okay. I'm not gonna lie.
I think we can do better.
We'll give that one a shot next week.
If you
For
can
an off the cuff, it was pretty fucking good.
A few weeks.
It's a good first start. It's a good first pitch. I'm not saying it's the worst.
Yes, I understand. We're brainstorming here.
DJ, if you like the idea so much, you can put the list together, bro.
Yes. If you're here at YouTube.com/Brainstorm Brewery watching the show, go into the comments, like, subscribe, gently caress the finger bell icon, and then you can put it down in the comments. And if you come up with the best name, I'll ship you a boosty.
I will talk about my experience purchasing the products, since I was the only one that attempted to on the cast. I waited until 12 o'clock sharp, and I clicked the button that was on the Secret Lair page. I was already logged into my account. I even opened it on Firefox because the Secret Lair website doesn't like Chrome, and I already knew that from previous experiences. So I was prepared fully. I went to click and buy several of them and put them in my cart. I went to go to check out, and then I had to click a box that says some I don't remember what the box was, and then I couldn't click the continue box. It wouldn't let me click through to give my payment information. It was just not there. So then I waited 5 seconds, and then it said a little pop-up came up that said, like, you have been logged out automatically. Please refresh the page.
Nice.
So that's not great. So then I tried refreshing the page, and then I went to a Discord where several other people were talking about the product, and somebody said, try to log in or try to buy the product as a guest, because having an account was what was bugging it. So I went and did that, and it did not fix the problem. It had the same issue. So then I went to my mobile device and tried to do it from there. I managed to, about 10 or 15 minutes in, actually get onto the wait list. So I had a little loading bar down at the bottom. It said estimated load time 20 minutes. And I just kept an eye on that for 15 or 20 minutes until it finally popped. I got to place my order on my credit card, and then a very harrowing, like, 5-minute little spirally loading thingy of, like, we are processing your order. And then my order processed. Then 10 minutes after that, I got the email confirmation that I actually got an order. And then I returned to Twitter to do the little GIF where the guy brings the pizza into the burning house. And not everyone was.
That's Childish Gambino.
Lover, the guy.
That's Childish Gambino.
Okay.
That's Troy Barnes.
That's Troy motherfucking Barnes
I was one of today's 10,000.
He did a keg stand. It was a keg flip. You're right. No.
I am one of today's 10,000. What more do you want from me?
A secret
I want
lair.
you to recognize.
I want you to sell me a secret lair.
My favorite TV show is Community, and every time
was a really Corbin-y story. I just want to point that out.
Every time Jason dunks on me for, like, not knowing every time Jason knows more about Community than me, I die inside.
I'm really
the point
sorry.
being that Magic 30 in Vegas may have not been the only poorly run thing. Wizards' website is notorious for failing at critical moments of demand, and it seems to have done the same again. I don't know if we will get another, sorry we burned down your village, here's some more
Well,
of the smart
listen,
sheets.
they sold all
No.
of them. Why would they fix it? If
Well,
fixing
there's
it
a
makes
couple-
it less
yeah.
annoying for people, but not fixing it makes it random who gets what. Not just the quick or the dead. It's the I figured it out or I stuck with it. It's very fun.
It recreates the booster pack experience. Really, it's what
Yeah,
you call
exactly.
booster
You
fun.
can go to the website. Do you get a pack or do you get bupkis? You don't know.
There's non-zero
so-
chance.
I got
there
a
was
bulk
actually
rare
safe-
because I couldn't get on the website. I was in a moving car, tried to do it on a phone. Didn't let me.
There's a non-zero chance that what happened was it might have been an anti-botting feature that bumped people.
There,
'Cause, like-
there's a lot of I mean, maybe we'll find out one day what went wrong in the background. What's interesting to me about it is that this was a very limited run. I think they wanted to make sure that, I mean, we're in November 1st, we're recording here. This is people, it's obviously meant to get to people for the holidays, and if it's a countdown, it needs to be there in advance, blah, blah, blah. And we've seen some of their issues with previous secret layers. It tells me that this must have been enormously popular for it to break the website when they've been, I mean, they've been at this for a little while now.
Yeah, they
Corbin,
did.
I'm
Yeah, I
gonna
mean,
interrupt you
this
for one
isn't
second.
the...
Corbin, I'm
Yeah.
going to interrupt you for 1 second. The unconfirmed leak that I heard, that is an anonymous leak that I don't know who it is, but it's the estimated number sold was roughly 35,000 of this product.
I also heard that number, I believe, from a different source than DJ. So I have a fan theory.
Go on.
I have a cool little theory about this. I think it'd be really, so there's 30 cards in the Advent calendar.
Yep.
There are 31 days in the month of December. I'm not crazy, right? There are 31 days in December.
Usually.
31 days, half December, April, June,
Sure.
and September.
I'm just going to say
So-
usually, yeah.
As secret layers usually have a bonus card, and I think it'd be really cool if the bonus card, and the theme for the secret layer is a card from every year of Magic. I think it'd be really cool if the bonus card was a card from 2023.
For sure.
Well, isn't 2023 the 30th year, though?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, put some Brothers War. Well, I guess Brother War is about to come out.
Put,
Put some preview card from 2023 for sure.
Well, how about a
There's
card
like a-
where they print Dryad Forest tokens as 1/1 creatures that tap for green after they said they would never do land tokens? Could that be the preview card?
Yeah, that's
So-
it, Jason.
I think it'd be really cool if it was like, you know, maybe not like a story relevant card, but like a story relevant adjacent card from like one of the Phyrexia sets or whatever. I think that'd
Yeah.
be tight as hell.
I do think it would be very cool
Yeah.
to have an unreleased card in the set. Yes.
The last time I did that was from
Or
the
half
Vault
a card.
Relics, right?
Half a card would be sweet.
Sword of
What was
Body of
in-
Mine was in From the Vault Relics. And
Oh,
then
you're
Six Stars
right.
Unit came out 3
Yeah.
months later. That's so hype. We saw it and we were like, oh my god, swords are back!
And it wasn't even a good sword. We all shit. You know how many?
No.
You know how many 25-cent Stoneforge Mystics I bought when they put that in the secret layer, and I sold them for $3.
Same.
And felt like a fucking genius.
I bought a lot of Armament Masters too. That one didn't go as well.
That card was in a
If they
pre-con.
did that, that would be super hype. I hope you're right about that.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, to be honest.
I wouldn't be
with you.
surprised if they thought of something that was so obvious. Kath thought of it.
Also, the other thing it could be is it could be a holiday card. Like, you know, they have like the holiday cards in WotC.
I do. That's possible. We'll see. The way those are distributed is very much an internal thing, not.
That's
like
why
an
Corbin
external
doesn't get
thing.
one. Is what he's saying.
So I will
get
say,
one every
I,
year.
I do want to do a little piece of advice for people who got the product and for people who didn't. If you bought more than one, hoping to get some of your money back by selling the additional ones, I
Just sell
think
them for
you can-
$300 right now.
That is what a lot of people are doing, is putting them on eBay for $300 and just netting a double up and just moving on with their life. I did that with the Beetle and Grim Here Be Dragons one. I sold a few on eBay like the day I bought them. It's great. And then just move on. If you didn't get them, I would not be the one to buy them at $300. I would wait a while and buy some of the singles you want later. I don't think now is the right time to just try to capitalize on your FOMO and just like dig a deeper hole for yourself.
I definitely.
Go ahead.
I saw a number thrown around earlier today that like the total TCG player low value of the cards in the set currently is like 250 for like the normal versions or whatever.
Right.
And so, you know, obviously the foils will be worth more, and like you might spike the Chrome Mox foil and win big.
Wait, I disagree about the foils being worth more.
Well, the foils are random.
Yes. So
you're
like,
saying the foil Chrome Mox will not be worth more than the non-foil Chrome Mox from this set?
I don't think so.
Why? There's 1/30th as many of them or something. They're way less common.
So what percentage like of the Dracula layers do you think were sold as foil?
Okay, but you don't get to choose which cards are foil in this one.
It'll be. It's gonna be like roughly the same distribution overall, though. Like a third of
no,
the
it's
Chrome
not.
Mox.
No, it's not.
What?
So okay, if they sold 35,000 secret layers, right? Right. That means there's 35,000 of the non-foil Chrome Moxes, and let's say 1 in 10 of these secret layers has a foil Chrome Mox in it. That means there is 10% as many foil Chrome Moxes as there are non-foils, which likely means the foil will be more expensive. I'm not crazy, right?
I would say that your math is mathing.
1/3 of all the cards in the secret layer are foil.
Okay, so then there's 3 times as many non-foils as there are foils.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't the foils be more expensive due to scarcity?
But like the demand is also
Unless nobody wants the foil, as I think what DJ's trying to get at. Right?
Sure, but like the foil Chrome Mox, people are going to want the foil Chrome Mox. Like,
I think so too.
the one that already has a masterpiece. Like I don't know.
I mean, yeah, like the masterpiece Chrome Mox is $300. If this one's $100, like that is a really different good. Like that is not a competing good. That is a replacement value good. And like that is something that people will buy. Like, I'm someone who wants a cool Chrome Mox for my CEDH deck, but I don't want to buy a masterpiece. Maybe I'll buy a GP foil, or maybe I'll buy
I think
this.
I think the regular foil or the regular old border Chrome Mox can be 100, and the foil can be 100 too.
Sure, but like, how about we make a prop bet?
I'm down for that. We haven't done a bet in forever. I'm
Yeah.
down.
So okay.
I still have some spicy peanuts, baby.
Let me set this up. DJ is not wrong that there are a lot of cards today where there are fewer foils than non-foils, but the foils are the same price because no one wants them. Okay, you can look at a lot of stuff in collector boosters at a much lower end and see that.
My go-to example for this that I feel it's comparable to is like the Exquisite Blood from the Dracula Secret Lair.
Yeah, but those cards also look like shit.
I'm not super confident in Wizards foiling nowadays. I guess I'll say
also, here's the thing. There are almost certainly more foils than non-foils of that secret lair.
Okay, so that I'm really interested in because that secret lair was more expensive in foil.
Correct. It's $10 more for the foils, right?
And you think more people bought the foil than non-foil?
I certainly think there are more of them. Like, let's do a quick spot check on TCG Player right now. Okay, how many listings are there? What's the Dracula card called? What's the one you're talking about?
Hunger of the Exquisite one or something like that. Thirst of the
Hunger of the Ancient one. Yeah,
Hunger of the Ancient one.
So there are.
I said Hunger of the Exquisite one because that's the card.
There are 47 foil and 46 non-foil on TCG Player. They are almost in lockstep.
Interesting.
And the prices are almost exactly the same. So like, obviously this is not a good piece of data. Like it's anecdotal and it's a tiny cross section at best. But like, the prices are in lockstep and so is the supply.
Interesting. I would have guessed that like there were fewer foils purchased because of the price difference and the fact that like it's just foils do not have a good reputation nowadays. I guess
I'm gonna tell a real world finance story. Who here knows what the Franklin Mint is?
I know what the Franklin Mint is.
So
they got name checked by Ben Folds, baby. That's how successful they are.
So they were a company that printed like little shitty metal cars, right?
And plates.
Like they were the ones who were selling plates on TV. But like there were these metal cars.
It's QVC shit. The Franklin Mint, baby.
Jason, shut up! I'm telling a story.
The Star Wars coins.
So when these metal cars came out, everyone was like, "Oh my god, these are so cool! I'm gonna buy them. These are gonna be worth a ton." And everyone bought them, and so everyone has them, and so they're worth fucking nothing.
Right, they're Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies.
Right, and so like, I think the Junji Ito secret layer. I think you're right. I think non-foil Thoughtseizes are gonna be worth very similar to foil Thoughtseizes from that set, because everyone's buying foils, being like, "Well, obviously a foil Japanese Thoughtseize is worth $800 for a lower end copy or whatever it is." So people are going to buy foils expecting to be worth something because so many people bought them, they're not worth as much. This set, that's not an option.
So you're saying the play is the non-foil just on the basis of everybody, like, first level finance thought is foiled Thoughtseize equals money printer go burr, and then you're outsmarting them by buying the non-foil, non-Pringle-y version? I'm into it.
So what is the percentage? That's not an option for this. What is the percentage for our bet? Like 15%? Like if it's 15% more...
Yeah, say we need to set a baseline here because you obviously you got to give.
Like
I think
6 months
DJ's
out,
taking
if
the extreme
foil
position
Pro Mox
there.
is 15% higher than.
we have to put some caveats on this because secret layers are so inconsistent in terms of when they actually go out. I want to be safeguarded. So
let's say, then 6 months after the release date.
6 months from the day DJ gets his.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think the foil chrome mocks will be worth 15% more than the non-foil.
Okay.
DJ, call.
Does that work?
I agree. Yep.
I'll bet.
We got a bet, team.
How much are we betting? Or is this just like purely a shame bet? Can we not actually
gotta be
gamble on
dinner.
the podcast?
It can't be monetary. It has to be something stupid that we like do on camera.
Yeah, it's got to be something.
I
dumb,
have
for
the
sure.
peanuts.
Jason says he has the peanuts.
I can't
Spicy
eat
bets-
spicy foods or I might die because I have like chronic bronchitis now because
I'm not going to tell you that I'm over
Also,
spicy
bets
betting
are
myself.
it's so old. Like we've done it.
I
again.
agree.
I don't care.
I agree.
It has to be
How about
something
it's a
different.
slap bet?
All right, in the comments, let us know. Send an email to brainstormbrewery@gmail.com. And not just for this one. Give us some ideas so we can get some more bets going on the cast. Because you know what? It's fun. It's,
How about
as
a
they
slap
say,
bet?
content.
To be determined. I'm not against it. I'm not
Okay.
let's
Ooh.
listen to let's see if we can get some ideas.
We've never had a slap bet before. I will not be
slap
participating
bet.
in any slap bets myself. That's not
I'm
my
into
thing.
it.
Jason is into it. We know that. I am.
DJ's
not,
got a lot of upper body strength and I'm like 4 times as big as DJ, so it's kind of fair.
It does seem like it might work out. DJ will you're both going to just spend hours researching the
Everyone's
most
like,
effective
DJ
way
would be
to-
good to fight. He's like a spider monkey, but a spider monkey's not going to win a slap bet.
Let's move into breaking bulk.
Pick of the
The
week.
other one.
Breaking bulk time.
What, DJ?
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, breaking bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
Breaking bulk
All right, it
again,
is-
Corbin.
It is time for pick of the week. That's what I meant. That's what I said. That's what I always say.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
I
As
think
I get
people
it
want
right.
another breaking bulk. Hey, my card is from. It's
My other
Reshape.
breaking
I don't know.
my other
what
breaking
it's
bulk is flame fusillade.
from. Ooh, flame fusillades are good.
So Jason is in on this. Your pick of the week, Jason. To clarify here.
My pick of the week is definitely not that.
Yeah, all right. What do you? We're going to let you lead us off here.
I have a card called Whir of Invention that is going to be very good when Urza Lord Protector comes out, and we got Brothers War is going to be artifacts out there, and Whir of Invention under $3 currently. I realize it's got multiple printings because it is either mystery boosted or the listed or whatever. I'm just saying that Whir of Invention is like $4 ish right now. Do you really think it's not going to go up in Brothers War, considering that it is in the majority of the current Urza Lord Protector decks being built on sites like everybody but Tapped Out, basically Deck Stats and Architect and Moxfield, all those sites. The majority of decks, Urza Lord Protector decks, are already committing to playing War of Invention in the future. I don't think this is a bad buy at like $2.50, and that's what it is everywhere. This is a $5 to $7 card. Just scoop that free money. War of Invention is cheating, and we are going to
War
have
of
a lot
Invention
arguments
is
soon.
also. I'm interested to see if it makes a comeback in Modern.
Yeah.
Because War Prison, and or Lantern Control, whatever sort of
Or even
iteration
Thopter
of
Sword.
it you want to look at.
War costs
Thopter
half
Sword,
of what
yeah.
Fabricate does, and Fabricate is in Mystery Boosters also.
Also, like, we're about to have a whole set of like Mirrodin and Phyrexia themed sets next year.
Yeah.
Yep,
Like, there's no way it doesn't get better at some point.
I agree for sure.
It's gonna get better literally on the basis of its War of Invention, and it is played in 34,000 decks according to EDH Rec.
It's also quite a few. All right,
34,000 is quite a lot. So do what you want.
I'm going to follow up with a standard card. So I know people love paper standard.
We do.
Ao the Dawn Sky from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. It's $2, and it is very, very, very good in standard. But you know what? It's also just a legendary dragon with 5 power from Neon Dynasty. And it's pretty good, as it turns out. I haven't looked at stats on EDH Rec, but I do like this card as a mythic quite a bit at $2 from Neon Dynasty.
I believe that card is also very good in Japan.
That
That card
sense,
is that card is 900 yen on Haruya right now, retail. So
yeah, there you go. That's a good place to see that there is a market for it in addition to commander play and such that it can get here. But yeah, it's powerful. It's got powerful effects, flying vigilance. It's hit the sweet spot in a couple formats, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it make its way into Pioneer as well. All right, Cass, what are you looking at this week?
I have a card that has, I guess, technically 3 printings. It was in Time Spiral Remastered, and a World Champs promo. It is Urza's Factory. Mine is the World Champs promo specifically. They spoil the card today for Brothers War called Urza's Workshop that has Metalcraft, tap, add a colorless for each Urza's land you control. Only if you have 3 artifacts.
Yes.
Urza's Factory has, obviously some very cheap printings, but in my opinion, the coolest one is this awesome full art one from the World Champ series.
Yes.
The card kind of has sold between $5 and $10 for the last 6 months or so. And there's some copies available for in that range. There's a lot of copies available at 7 currently as we record on November 1st. But 10 copies sold today after that spoiler. And this isn't so much a pick it for it to go up later. It's kind of a pick it to buy a copy now so you have one if you ever want to play.
You have to sell when
Yes,
people make
yes.
bad decisions. Exactly.
Yeah, it's if you I personally am probably gonna buy a copy just because I like the card, and how bad can a card that's only printings have been? 10 years ago. 10 years ago was a Champs promo, and then TSRB, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is a little side anecdote I've done on the cast before, and I don't think it'll be relevant this time, but it's still worth mentioning because of the conversations like this that we have. So when cards like this are in Commander 2013 precons, and when cards like this go up, you should also just look at those precons. Just buy the precons
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes.
Every now and again, there's just a card that goes to $10, and people are rushing to buy the $10 copy on TCG. But sometimes that card going to 10 is what makes the value of that precon go to 45 when the precon is 30 on TCG. And then there's usually a decent amount of money to be had there, or a very cheap precon that lets you add a bunch of cards to your decks for cheaper.
Yeah.
I don't think that Urza's Factory, the Commander 2013 one, is going to 10. I think the Champs promo is an incredibly good pick because those promos are so ancient and so hard to find.
Yes. And it actually looks good too. It's an old foil.
Cass, when was the last time you saw an Urza's Factory promo in a binder at a GP?
Never in a binder in a GP. I got one recently when someone sold me their Legacy Lands deck collection, and that was the last time I've actually purchased one of those.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this card in a binder or collection in my life.
Yeah. The person I got it from specifically sought it out.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a card that doesn't exist, basically, and the smallest amount of demand will move that needle a lot.
Right.
So my pick is a tried and true artifact, originally from Lorwyn. I guess I'm on a Lorwyn kick this week. It was reprinted in Commander 2013, similar. And then it went almost a decade without a reprint before getting crashed in Commander 2021. And then it's on the list. I know this is not a guessing game, but does anybody want to guess my little artifact?
No.
Okay.
No.
Lorwyn artifact?
Corbin, don't take the bait.
Is it 1,000-year elixir or something?
It is. It is 1,000-year elixir.
I'm so smart.
That card's awesome.
After its list printing, it was just crushed to $5. It's
Yeah.
crept up a bit since then. It's on the $7,
No, wait,
$8.
it wasn't just the list reprinting. It wasn't an EDH precon and a list reprinting within a 24-month period or something?
Yeah, the C21 printing was really what killed it. That's what made it go from 20 to 7 or 8, and then it continued to just go down and down and down until it's 3, and now it's climbing back up again. This is one of those picks that just happens to be asterisk if it doesn't get reprinted. It is clearly a reprintable card. It just needs to dodge and bob and weave and just avoid those reprints until it starts to bloom up to 10 again.
I think a really good precursor for that. I don't know if this is actually a good precursor, but I think it's an interesting data point. Foils of this card, which is only a foil in Lorwyn, by the way. None of the reprints have foil versions. Are $80. So, the only thing keeping the price low was supply, and this is the kind of card that when someone buys it, it just leaves the market forever. So as supply dries up, assuming no reprint, like DJ said, I think this card just, always creeps up.
Yes.
And it occasionally, very rarely, I imagine, these days, but has shown up in competitive decks before.
What?
Very occasionally. It's kind of good with it was playing like devoted
it was
druid
good in
decks for
combo.
a bit.
Yeah, good with combo elves was a thing for sure.
I mean, that was definitely the design of the card when they printed it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's also just
Okay.
like it's one of those cards people kind of forget exists sometimes. Despite being incredibly powerful.
I do have one more mini segment before Corbin has to go see his kid. For a very long time, we had a little inside joke about how, well, not even on this podcast, just in the Magic community, cards from Shadowmoor just didn't get reprinted. There was like Greater Oromancy and Reese the Redeemed and Mana Reflection, and Idyllic Tutor kind of got an honorary mention in there, but like just Lorwyn block as a whole went close to a decade without just getting any meaningful reprint. And I would like to announce that a newcomer has taken the throne from Lorwyn.
Okay.
And it's not even a newcomer, really. It's just like a block that has crept up on us in several
Just
of the high-end cards.
just a regular comer.
Several of the high-end cards, it's just one of those, how has this gone 20 years without a reprint? And one of the reasons I'm picking it is because lately a really big arbitrage card I've been hard on is Cart Clan Ironworks. You can buy this card in Europe for like $10 and then sell it for $30 in the US. It's actually cracked.
Yep.
And every time I just buy another batch from Europe, I'm like, man, just won the tiniest printing of this and it's now a $10 card again. Like if it gets announced in the time that takes these copies to get to me, I'm gonna get hosed. But Cart Clan Ironworks continues to dodge reprints. If somehow the main reason I didn't pick this as my pick of the week is because I'm still so scared of a reprint. If somehow this continues to dodge a reprint in Brothers War-ish era timeline, it's like 50 or 60 because it's just that insane of a card when it comes to artifact combo, which we're doing an artifact block and then another artifact block next year.
Yeah, it's banned in Modern, but that doesn't mean that people aren't going to. Yeah, there's obviously a lot of other formats in which you can do artifact things with the new cards.
There's a deeper dive that I'm not going to do right now, but this card is a really niche spot of like, I like to think of it as like the World War III of Commander cards. Like it's the card that somebody buys at the end of their Commander arms race before they nuke themselves back to the Stone Age.
Yes, that's exactly what happened with my slow bad deck. When I put it in my slow bad deck, I started stomping people and I was like, I have to fix this. I have to take this out.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
Commander War 2 will be fought with nuclear weapons, and Commander War 3 will be fought with bows and arrows.
With Casey eyes.
And so like that's why I didn't pick KCI, but it's just interesting that there's a few other cards from Fifth Dawn that fit that exact description. Every time I flip through a binder at a GP, one of my go-to conversation lines is like pulling a Steel Shaper's Gift at a binder. I'm like, man, this card still hasn't been reprinted, huh?
Yeah.
Steel Shaper's Gift, Grinding Station's the other obviously relevant one for competitive nowadays because it's just a combo card with Emery.
They don't like to print those cards to reprint them because Steel Shaper's Gift is surprising, but KCI, Grinding Station, those are not
when I made
cards.
KCI is a disaster.
I made and scheduled a tweet for this, and then I realized when I was doing my rant that the tweet hadn't hit yet, so I guess I can say it. But like Beacon of Creation is a surprisingly weird one that is just on this list when I was looking for a fourth image for the tweet. Beacon of Creation is like $14 and it's just from Fifth Dawn. It has no reprints. It's just a weird like how card.
Something spiked it. I don't recall what, but something did.
Part of the reason why like Grinding Station and Cart Clan Ironworks are so hard to reprint is they're both just like disasters of cards. Like Grinding Station triggers itself when it comes into play. It's like a trigger that's hard to remember.
Wait, what? Oh my god, I've never even realized that.
Yeah, Cart Clan Ironworks is like a mana ability that you can use, like using the ability, like the order in which you cast spells to retain priority, kind of, and sacrifice multiple artifacts at once, thus triggering their triggered abilities at the same time. Like, they're both insane disasters of cards that make them hard to reprint. And so, like, that's part of why they've gone so long, is because they're just mechanically bad.
I figured Beacon of Creation, DJ, was Yavimaya. That's what spiked that one.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
sure.
Makes sense. Speaking of creation,
wait, can you put Grinding Station in a Commander Precon? Obviously, you can't put KCI. Obviously, but like,
you can put Grinding Station. Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I think you can put Grinding Station in there. It's just like, what's the upside? Like that card's not doing anything fun or fair in Commander.
Also that.
Like,
Could you? Yes. Would you? Probably not.
The chance to do it was honestly the Ready Precon.
Wasn't that outside of EDH that people were using Grinding Station?
They're playing it in Modern, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Duretti or Brea. You put it in Duretti.
I mean, everyone's died. I feel like everyone's died.
But nobody's playing
Brea,
dude. It's not 2018 anymore.
I've died to Grinding Station several times in Commander in my life.
You've died to... You died to,
Skullstorm.
what is it?
Right.
Skullstorm? Yeah.
Skullstorm, yeah. I played a lot of Commander, I guess. I've done some interesting things. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning into the show. As always, we appreciate you. Everyone who came up and said hi to any of us in Las Vegas, and there were, you know what, a surprising number of you who I hopefully did not say hi to Jason, but said hi to the other three of us, and we appreciated that. And Jason appreciated going to BattleBots and not hearing from you.
You know
So
what?
everyone was happy. We had a good time.
I spent the whole time like cranky that people weren't coming up to me and saying like, "Hey, Jason," but like every time somebody did, I was like, "I want to talk to you." So
You're unapproachable.
Anyone who came up to me and said hi mentioned you, I was like, nope, Jason, don't want you to say hi to him. Don't do it.
don't tell people that. That's
You
why I
tell
have a
people that.
reputation, not because I get snippy with people. It's because you tell them not to talk to me.
Yeah, that's what
I
it
had-
is.
I
had
brought
multiple
people
people-
around the booth to meet DJ.
I had people
That's
come
why
up to me,
anyone in a
DJ.
Brainstorm Brewery shirt, which were available at the Coalesce booth or at the Coalesce website, where you can use the gift code Brainstorm Brewery to save 10% on your order. Anybody wearing that gear, I talked to. I
Fair.
talked to them because they didn't recognize me.
I had multiple people come up to the booth and start talking to DJ, and then I would start talking and be like, "Wait, I recognize your voice. Who are you?" And I'd say, "Oh, I'm Cass from the podcast." I'm like, "Oh, you're great on the podcast. I didn't know what you looked like." That's my favorite part.
Yeah, perfect. There you go. That's how. And then people who watch on YouTube
Are you on
will
cam
begin to learn
tonight?
what you look like, and it'll go from there.
I wanted to be on cam, but my webcam is broken.
All right. Well, everybody.
DJ.
All right, everybody.
Fuck
Thank
that.
Jason. Shut up. Let me do the thing so I can go.
No.
Jason, shut up.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening to the show. We'll see you next week.